Will tuta? Testing?
Ari? Start. Okay, malungil tutaw el morarbek la adro kulo rin sa EPFM Eco Paradise sola el alsil sing Wednesday el ruk marmarsel teme de lo bengela daitor yorkid e kura to bet sil el alsil sama el altime e kadangar sel press conference el alsil sel Wednesday August 9, 2023. Malway say el altime ak mulngit titigel ruk nga kulela Biblia Pastor Jesse Pastor Garnet el ruk mo meskita sel rukodang sa el altutaw.
Madungit tutaw ya pat sige delal tutaw mga ra 7 Chronica ra chapter 7 verse 14 makmo muy tor belaw ma to kamigin mut mo ya sum arata lungi kliang kle ang maram rin meryo emlulu siger ngak e bul tra makit to lor delir sige dak marayang emor resertir makmo suba sa country emong kungil ra blurir. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land.
Thank you, Garnett. Why don't we all bow our heads and pray this morning? God, we thank you for another day you've given us to really experience your renewed mercies toward us. And God, even as we think of these verses this morning, I pray for each of these, our leaders here, that you would give them wisdom as they use this time to seek you, and that you would hear our prayers the same way you're hearing them now. But God, I think of how each of the decisions that are going to be planned and executed, may it all be glorifying to you. May you be the center of it all. And without you, God, we wouldn't be able to make much of what we can do, but we praise you for having leaders that prioritize the hearing of your word and even just the lifting of our prayers. So I just lift this morning up to you and would pray that all of what's going to happen in this conference and so on and so forth would be for the betterment of our island and our people, and most importantly, it would be to glorify you. We love you, God, and we ask all this in your name. Amen.
Okay, maluway sa malmasawla kulela Biblia el time ako yung Michael Mumsanga Daitor Yorkid, President Surangel S Jr. Yung tutaw.
Sulang Randy, sulang brothers from kulela Biblia. Manungil tutaw mo na adalah media na kung gada na tutaw manungil tutaw Mr. Klein, Mr. Soley, Mr. Ngawakla. Uterte ale gote bodo susray bidul mara Klein. Marugul belaw, bilung nagbireklay masil belaw, President of the Senate Rocons Paules, marugul senators, Speaker Anastasio, marugul delegates, delegal susrigid na mo Vice President, marugul na cabinet na mga delegal kitaw, delegal man susrigid mo Chief Justice, marugul justices, madelegal local governors, leitors, marbek la other below. Tira mga blue ng ayang almora hotcharigi, mga ikrela blue bela la al silsiluk no sobril tuni no mertial press conference. Kita of course ang ammo talboy la taga Suez. Betoka Omral de Blari, el gira la tuino la other below. من دي سودر وايس واسيا من فرست الامر ليدر سنه دي بوسا عملو هولدينغ بلو رامريجل ملاني اتبلو الهيرينغ بلو اتن اغوت ملاني سيل هيرينغ ناتشورال ريسورس كوميتي را سينت سيل لما والو ريور منوني اتلا del testify سيل كوميتي را سيناتور مانشن of course انجل minority leader سيناتور براسو مملاني يجل questions ارتير ما يجل 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 ايسرا committee. Was the time is a house committee chairman Rodwagon among Graviola, Gurhalva, Tria Upmose التستيفاي رمضان غامي تير you know كده مدينة جنا على سلا government مكذا no أي سرتير أي كده ومرة لو أسين continue to improve تير لو كادر والبي لغنيا أي مورينيا تاريا of course كذا واسين لو تري instate ترسل لوبيس ليا والبيرا بلورا أمريكا للي رانغرامون نارسيا state department نديم لاري عدال نادر interior ما defense department السبيسي لوبيس من دخل الموت وسنجر رابلور بيلو كده مدينة واسين كذا for some reason أمريكا agreement تسير برا agreement تغلوادي دم أويت and I think one of the things that we want to continue to do كده منام أديسل economic review that we're doing every year. ملا permanently كده ملا release economic advisory group more permanent functional دول مولين. لكده ده أرجع المينا review was every 10th or 15th year. أجا ده مساعدة على time. And I think one of the things that we were able to discuss in Washington لو ترجع سألي ده was the relationship كده yes. I tell compact agreement الوال basis تل توي ما يقال review دورو دي سيدا prevent كده additional كده أو مثلا needs كده change for example ترى دول صادرين أفيما كده at one point تقدر عشان ده تايفون المربلاو so we don't need FEMA and that's why FEMA was taken out of the original compact من كده مرينا الآن الموت رئيسي بريجيدر على نتو عشان دي ملا مستري دي of course issue climate change ما تايفون المربلا دي ملا مقدا سيرتام تيجي نغشيتور عشان دي قبل قرية دي obviously كده نعمل سايقال نادوبرا قوام مسايبان so some form of FEMA or some assistance in the disasters needs to be in place. We don't know when the next one is happening. So sea دول مول لو نيجي نقول لهم يسمى نوت النساسي. Of course ترى قط كلاود وتلين الأولى نجيرة دل keep up para sel ook rule دلهم ترى دلهم بيجوا سه تيجي passing by October. كذا if you were listening to the hearings قال assistant secretary كان ترى دلوا سه أقام بختر بلا ده عمره قال in the next year. So technically assistance in Marablur Bela doesn't need to kick in until 2025. The part of the negotiation of the minister del Maduro and Blue Ambrigel Lavantria say because impact of COVID ma tretal dangan al ser al time and say los peri ambassador say area cash crunch is that right the minister or a liquidity crunch so because of that and that's why the advance I get assistance in Merbelao early. And that's why it's so important that they implement the compact the second agreement a whole year earlier than what is expected. Say of course that's why timing is so important to get it done by October 1st. Of course, politics we never know what's going to happen, and we have to try our best. If anything, and I reminded them, I said, we don't want to repeat the same 8 years ago. That's the last thing that we want to do. So, after say, the Merbela, of course, the Secretary Holland, I'm lending a read. Of course, Abangel Morablio, but the help him understand that tell the will read, the important priorities are Blue Bella. Kami am tingin wasa rukun nges wal mera blur belau through the department interior and mera blur belau ma of course secretary Harald the member of cabinet blur amrigel president Biden and artial me mesrigil noria tele del dirigalo mugela secretary Harald the morsel inauguration vice president FSM كده بنقول وسيط ترجع سليدر FSM RMI we're all part ترتيال أوك freely associated states بنقول أبلون أمريكا. لكن تو ترى هذا داخل اللوريور. You know one of the things الأوك no advantage كده الآن compact ويقال كالديل بلوات مقال مدور أبلون أمريكا. Because of the three of us working together. إن أنا for example 2010 أبلا أديم لقال سي الماي دي FSM أيلا 2003 whether assistance أو سير أبلور أمريكان الجدا تيجي others فلاو citizens أملا أبلور أمريكان so one of the things اللي trial ملاس أمريكان بروين على التايم make sure we're aligned Raigel federal programs malubang accessibility gida maigel baby rabloa mala osisyu. Le sel ukil dilgid sometimes I gida more web. I know that's the programs are last part of the negotiation of compact, and we're still working on finalizing those. The Gdomara was a Trigal Salid, especially Trigal Tonari Reed, total part, whether we're dealing with PIF, we're dealing with Blue Rambrigal, dealing with all of our partners among close to Trilla Will the Will among the Malmo no altat mo sa Narse attend the Lomgela Minister of Health, Madirigal Minister Obiang and Gemnarse Ukirel Shipping Commission. Gidam dina se gida dirigal magala mesa tola shipping ma dirigal transportation aigal balwa they make sure we have reliable service, but also it's within reason. Degal ukal gauger yid. Aktimas kami example. Kita malangal tangat, at least aigal dasing. Aktimas kami example. A 40-footer container el ngara sinan mora blue rabrigal went from 2,000 to at the peak seral pala pa aigal delara West Coast rabrigal 25,000 for 1 40-footer container moso is blue rabrigal. Ablur bela maigal Micronesia same al Matson adim lagal el charge yigidel and rates and merigid, and that's partly because of we have this shipping commission and help protect the yidem. That's the advantage of working together. So a minister was a Matson was trying to raise rates at the Kurta Zehal mal already lamas aral because but that's part of what I got. Regional partnerships are so important, so we have to support each other. But let's congratulate the new president of FSM, Semina Mapalik, and of course we look forward to working with them on regional issues. I think I'm going to asulir, sira karam regela, sir modur tigal congressman, akmal example was a Blura FSM, sira surige, etir urto da 200,000 am sa blur bela ul gira langes. Yam regela with the chief of staff of Medjero. I see. We use that as an example, or I say, our largest donor, FSM. So, but that's how we support each other as brothers in the Pacific. Of course, I said that I'm saying, Maluil Narse President RMI, Dirigam Narse Speaker Nauru, but that's Megiribas. But of course, they will continue to promote the issues with MPS and more PIF. So that's an important thing that we need to strengthen and continue to after say Minister Udui and myself attended Northeast Asia Economic Forum. Kita upnos ed morsel dominadora opening the keynote speaker. Mainly Agel Blue participate Blue Ramrigel, of course, at the Australian Hawaii, Blue Korea, Blue Shaban, Blue Sina, mainland, Mongolia. And one of the things that, of course, they wanted us to highlight and talk about was renewable energy, the impacts of climate change. But the other thing, digital economy and fiber optic cable, and how do we leverage and how do we use technology to improve our economy. And then one of the, of course, I think, how does that affect trade? Ding interesting and forum and opportunity of course Blue Ramrigel Mablur Sinari, as we know on the global stage, but this is another opportunity for them to dialogue and listen to the issues that they have with trade and the barriers and how while we were there, gel ukoptera Korea serabol ore ngase kamil terule maklole aga uspera tol elephant. Sem gawa de kamamel ngare hu so mamel tamal. So you need to talk and you need to keep the dialogue open and sel namadadu agi mobigi klose kada kadu small advance elevated tell geopolitical risk to the next level with I don't think that's what anybody wants. We want peace and prosperity, of course, in the region. It was really a great opportunity to really listen to not only eminent economists, group eminent economists, and one of the things, and this is a kind of a result that Dean Conan, a member of the Economic Advisory Group. And Gaya war chair tiel lurio mumle askal wase palamul John ali gaya makol bulu abela partner tiel no partner tiel organization ngadamle ask get join, and not only that cell executive leadership program the legal partner tiel the activity that no se la tedel ngal bela out of 14 I think 3 out of 14, so that's almost 20%. Mari gare bulu 3 participants bela are on fellowship and also participate at that stage. So they're there for 3 weeks. Maria Kenley,
Kenley,
Tabsul, Stephen, yeah. So those 3 young men are participating, and it's a great opportunity for them to engage with Korea, China, of course Mongolia and Mashaban, and to learn, we were talking about things while we were there. One of the things that I mentioned in my opening, I think it was during the keynote, initiative Dr. Yoshino was it to help banking system creating a Palau savings bond and leveraging that along with the Palau stablecoin. How these things can work together and help Avelu. So I mentioned Dr. Yoshino's name. Engel economist ada Shabal Marsase. Wow, gumigo ba Dr. Yoshino? Kasi part of the Economic Advisory Group. Right now, he's considered the premier Japan, third most respected or economist Rablo Shabal. Trigger foreigners actually. So as far as Japanese, so that's why he has the ear of the government Shabal. Kadamal, kadamal ngal tangat, trigger willing, and of course Dean Conan, a part of the Economic Advisory Group, Palau should be Belura Pacific only Palau a part of Tel Adamang kada man meringa sulele opportunity. Of course, this week, visit Dr. Rear Admiral Gregory Hoffman. So he was here, I believe, of course, Governor hopefully, I don't know if he was able to go to Pelilio. Of course, activity military and Gaya replaced Admiral Nicholson, of course, joint region commander ng Arakwam, close to terrible the issue belau, mal proactive mga mal delay, of course, to understand the challenges that we have and how do we work together. So Dega stop cell communication, kita malumrar sea military is an important partner. Nidil adra blur belau mangidil government Rablur Beral, so I'll engage on Rablur. Of course, I know Rablur is open to hear their concerns and try to resolve them. How do we work together, Girela? Most importantly, so I hope his meetings here were productive. Of course, continue with their project. The otherwise was a special prosecutor, Ragid. April Cripps, first of all, I don't know if she's the first or one of the few, the second, maybe the second special prosecutor of 5-year term. That doesn't usually happen. Of course, I'm going to talk activity law rule. ngani of course ang assistant rin so hopefully malmol mayel ngi activity blalo mol igida malmol molo sigara abesel ladan mo replacing naria the request other obula sel lolmol maybe possibly lolmol ma April digida amdang sel uk isura other alla ra bar dar sum lang lakla telalir se digal mo abar ba blue belan kasi practice so the only way she could practice agiran mo abar the abar is not you're not able to take it until next August so in the meantime we're on a search of sigra but most importantly kadamral maringa sulel ngiam na gini of course kadamla bere de laurior ding no sen artial at least 5 years lo melmi se lurel ngaria obviously continue kita osigra bes el adam mo feeling lastly in this local wadi update ang malimis el fotoka gonna be happening within the next few weeks legal activity ra merablur belaw first of all ang arisel Japan Palau Parliamentary Friendship League tigemer belaw ra August 21 to 25 diregal ngarisel Japan Prefecture Assembly diregal Mangela parliamentarians ra blura siawal mataywa diregal mera August 22 to 25 diregal mera Saudi delegation mer belaw ra August 20 to 25 diregal moria a JHUB conference JHUBs ra August 23 to 24 diregal kadalan may so say a US congressional delegation amer belaw ra August 25 diregal ngaria scientific committee ra WCPFC el mo laurel starter tera August 16 el mo 24 diregal sel Palau Water and Wastewater Association Pacific Water and Wastewater Association meeting amonira blur belaw August 26 to 28 and then Cell Economic Advisory Group adala Dr. Yoshino of course Dr. Konon Dr. Galbraith Amer belaw August 23 to 28 so as you can see tial mandar August kya amal kadaman mo masang blur belaw or takaigal protocol conference di nakal masar mo dire kita dire sen me conference and the tourist so hopefully most of those conference there's more than 100 people attending them 100 200 so those will at least help pertel tora klakan godang rigidel kita mga sing mgi kogin maran mo MCC but this also provides us with that opportunity to stimulate the economy lastly, maybe what we should do buy more kermange, and then other. What do you think? Yeah, more kermange, and then we'll let the ministers talk after. Ada, chula.
Well, tutay presidenta, kauma vice presidenta, ministers marbek ladro ko. Presidenta kadirigal mle ibus yang toka isura abdila pulis toka drugs mang akariga since ka president head tial kalmenta blur belaw eso la yang arngia kado mesa toka drugs arbulis samla test positive embargo kita mes lo asen direk mla sois berbla kalbus el asewal ko asya singa ada blur asya ingla mal klungak klalor kita garra al sera blur belaw magera asya tiang wai sei git sel mo mesel ngi al sum wai sei git ngani akora efforts from you as the president blur belaw aside legal existing programs ma activities gut mok combat tial rising illegal drugs ra al sera blur belaw
ako tulo la kada kumara luase aurora habla police especially gal ukurela la director Kerry abaim part expose a solver their problem. So the fact that at time I say we were able to test and identify was a lot of these problems have been going on for a long time. Whether it's our way of testing or way of monitoring, and that's why we're able to expose it, and that's part of the process of cleaning up the system. That's the way I give my messaging, but I pasa telalabay sa collaboration.
Mansali President Amralo Seguir Oblam Dali. Tial Taletile Bible the expose, Eboto Mulwase, Maria, I got it I will listen to Margalbus or Papa only a problem and then it almost be other of your kid. The Mr. Solega of Tiang Macmalon, it was say, Pomtaki will be responsible a media. Hindi kasi hindi malakong hindi tokol tiya kang ngilo. Tiya kita statement tokol obleme kanil mal tiya kal ginan ng mga tao say. I'm quoting you. The always say imagine. Ekadome sa ikan neri rar bulis. Ang ngara sega detet mo tira malo adi blom pra makital kan hara marijuana merko mangkarngel tial balur belaw tokol balur. That's irresponsible statement from you. Leng kamkaranye hindi kasi already sang clear tilkal la ne test positive mang kasi aman mga parepat terohin la bulis ran arungin law di ona blam mo maktak ta ra blam with that kind of statement ay gal al ma presumptive al mora buhay au kul matom daswar adaro kul mur bulis ro boy adi high e moria taletoy al mata dira kan check paradise safety ra bulis. Ay ang statement na kaya Mr. Kasole, al pulis sa ating lang mauawat-awat mo na pulis, takman ng siyang sa pulis, maraming power team. Kaya kita ito ko ay media, asabi ulit mo resign. Al pulis maraming already, hindi ka ngarang tigyakareo dudir, magkita aliwir, lilawet, albang, tela, maklakawat, kita o makakawat, Sen po niya way kaya gini tokoy violence kita tong kodong our police makmaroni media ba say please won't give responsible ay kan omarboy lentiya ka bola ba result test lentiya ka mo tuwat al police yata ko superbri wa say tira kay give ya high na ice mamariwana matamkaran protect kita adra blue mga kumaroni to was able to be the ngil sel sumo ko adra media mal lor ngata o other nga sal carry authority ra alda dami wal sabi iwal lungil al maya fax miro mo to way sel di ula we're doing the best we can way gelo Mr. President tiam ka tag problem en payo give tegi the testing mo sa mo net mo wasi na expose ay gagi mo sa audio na lo nga several bla police mo have the testing done, I will survey and then make sure other with the best police officers on the force.
Malam saule Vice Presidente nga kawel ka maroko direct criticism ra el merat tiging ka ma action sir nga kalesa. Abay question nga kalgel tiay daw say. So kung wa plat exposure ngi tiay gid el drugs ang maral moklaw ndim daw say ay diesel hindi ka man exposure ngi. President, okay.
Of course, tial flora drugs has to do with flow of people.
I see.
Of course, sera al simula blu bring la dolcis baklan. Selo open blu and mobeta dolcis baklan. Let's be honest. Kita makatatan masado lo say part of problem abla bulis. This is not a new thing. Tiam makatatan tuwara irani. So I think what's most important that we're trying to restore integrity of labulis. And we did a drug test earlier this year. It's like a drug test and other positive. But we tend to be able to say that drug test was not effective. So that's why we've conducted more drug tests. Of course, so we hear things, but you have to verify. So sometimes that's one of the things that Kerry is intent on. We gotta fix the dog program. We've gotta test properly. These are ways that we correct the problems that we've been carrying from the past. And that's the goal. I think what's most important is so let's not paint everybody. What we're trying to do, identify weaknesses and improve, and that's the ultimate goal. And of course, you cannot have people al sila system al mangar singrat tuwar belon. Hindi kasi mga bayaman mo mangar alwom o sige lang. Atu sige oy. So we've got to fix that problem. Yeah. And of course, but most importantly, we have to have programs and help to get out of it. And that's so identifying the problem. Then now next, how do we solve it? How do we correct it? How do we improve it? Sige daw.
So le presidente ang diligat kaya bibig question ng related to mortal drugs raking sari. Vice President ang ngarnia at ko il direct al marablu la media lo ase ang ngarnia drug test after 3 cycle ko to drug test il direct sa ethical violation mo dia nila ice ma marijuana. Maran ngarni kabom sorry.
Maran ngarni test al milkat mokra sarude. Sel Director Levita Mirael, and there was another test conducted at City Sarude Selblanuray.
Siapa belum ais luasai, leng Dr. Levita kalau lu ais result target test, saya mendengar kalau ais gitu lu ais merah ada luasai yang melanggar paseti marja.
Melanggar paseti. So for meth and the crystal methamphetamine, say the test na milat pokra 29 and I'm saying 29, was it July 29th? Which was a Saturday. Ding, hindi ka sabi ka bibilang clear, le Send the Borsel Open Government Act, ikaw kung ay sila ng mariyam la, aramidiyam la reach out and mirangak, alwasing to get information and gili lang clear. Hindi Send the Borsel Open Government Act, ang nga exemption, almora alti ka na disclose again wal para personnel maluwing information that will invade will amount to an invasion of privacy. So we're internally we're working through getting the results, taking administrative actions and to get the results.
So malo ay sila sa sige del test del planning tetela ka mo test tetela ka mo positive.
Clothing yang clothing yang kali information ro ko under the law abay mo rang kangi tele Attorney General 33 PNC section 1207 akmul wasing arogol results sa for Attorney General may nga information nila Attorney General tirgel test I believe there were 4 one or tiram le positive for 4 test
Sulang direktore minister vice Vosues. So president ang most sa ikapto kol gerel giray. Okay. So sir ang nga budget hearing ra MOJ, marko nga direktora aulu ay sir senator sa wasi. Nga ngomaral mo ramrigere almeg dia kasual malamol mal director of public safety aswal mo special advisor ang security advisor mangka kawablalo oti urungulel al mora senator sa mga siya nga raw siya man almeng ka malamol malubong siya nga lalo oti commitment ta adwa say grebe labol sa ular mo ti aluyo.
So just to be clear, ngal adam le sol mel security advisor in the beginning. Di amle mokte kargi da wase we need help para bla police, we need a director. Makadam le asking wase help pergi der so makadam le asking wase help us until we find somebody or groom somebody in mortel. That should be the ultimate goal. Kita at the end of the day kita dekal swada ada namrigal al director long term. Di kadam dengel wase Kudospera improvement trabla bulis. Example, I got issue to drugs. We tried our drug testing under the old director it didn't work. Let's be honest. Because of his expertise, knowing how to do it, expose ay alto. And that's what we needed, you know. We cannot do things the same way and expect a different result. And this is exactly what we're doing by having somebody from the outside come in and help bring the MESA system, change it up a little bit so we have an opportunity to improve. Because ultimately, improve kita dekal sadar adra blue lora la blue dase ay kita tembelir ajet tilang, but we don't have any evidence to back it up. Elang, because of what we've been doing, now we have evidence to back it up. Nakadana MESA problem, now we know how to fix it. So Sel comment Director Luis is consistent with what he's been saying from when he first arrived. Hindi kada allowing mo advisor until ang club level listen mo mere. That's because na askrin was it tila first the priority ko. So, noram regal mo repair mo makara iman. Let's say miltamal rural me. So, of course, his intent is to be back at the end of the month. Munser continue rural until such time kadam tigara other say brother group real mo si anu telo. Kaya nge ko niyo si makara help para malgel belaw almo si irudi telo. And as an advisor and say marabag continue help party. But step by step.
So lang President, I look to one more question. Vice President, takti confirm ay kang. So, Director Bulis samle appoint Valerie mo acting, imarwang ay kamle rescind say. Director nga niya toko wasi so I just want you to confirm this. Director amle demote Terul Division Chiefs. Everyone can directly rescind Raigay and move to place them back on their division position. Chief, siyang why say?
Okay, for the first one, in maral may appoint kita ni Valerie kasakasan mo acting director ya dekat sipil makuntong dia mabir mo wasing dekat sipil according to our rules and regulations are PPS. As to the second issue, and the Kalwaisi. And may I say, hindi kasi mo dia katraks sila bulubelaw. I think sa tutok mo sa nga niya at time mo sila katraks sila bulubela. Allah dia sabi el waisel toy. Norio katraks sila nga niya COVID. May kaibigan president. Sila el simrabulu en dia ka atraks. Hindi sila mlom kasay. Hindi sila huktalutan open. Maglalutan mo rin skogi, enya ko komes rin na rice rin ay gal kita matingin ko sa ngogi wa post office, mar other mesois para airport. Album director labi takmal mle, concentrate abilis, mo sabi el mong alay gal drak sa mo sabi el confiscate at the ports. Le dito spera kita other pura di ay bole observe hindi kasi edan mati kay drugs al totangit mo wasing parrot al ragal either ngay gal baggage git mal uben parrot on us as people persons are traveling back and forth mang ay gay ay lurio na lulula director valorisi era ay gidi al mo ila ay gal K9 al mo sabihin malungala ay kita detect drugs
The last question Sir, may Vice President mo provide kapir ay gel 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plan Director of it?
Yeah, he gave me reports every week. Mandi mo kapay paloborok la kami. But I will have to read that. I get ko kurawala kan sabi expose more media acting white out or block them. Di gen mo sila I'll send them over. Di man include I get training ring kirela tirgen mo mara artiat K9 program. Thank you to all.
Nal ask up to question again same la action la ask up every question so that saved me for a little bit malungil to tawi president tamabay si Marbekal Minister happy birthday Mr. President
Naklamo senior citizen
you can get your senior citizens card for now A question na nga President ayero ka gila la to ra sel that project na ngayon. You mentioned just earlier today was a Admiral Ngartiang amlo el momita governor ngayon. Ngaringi aldado mangkali tegamlo appear nga talk show lo say tamalas mal mga ado ra governor am namo 6 months lolas mal mala information gilid that project rangay ulit sa elmay in addition ng mlekidel mitra other American security coordination office am distobertin maul matamlo filer sa lawsuit. It's one of the reasons why they went ahead with lawsuit. Mangara ko ra responsible gilid say maseltal maral suit al filing kila la kabalinta bela American ma legal partners military contractors.
I think the misunderstanding governor and dimlaga intention or gidel prevent tim madura I mean I guess they're referring to NSC coordinator Jennifer Ansel was my understanding is that never happened, but of course you can ask Jennifer. I think it just has to do with a misunderstanding or a request, and sometimes in given more clear request the American both we're open government tiyaga dictatorship mo do martangarang of course most importantly is you have to have open dialogue mga graduation na ngayon promotion aklar siya makmil sa Mr. Nicolas edri kamil sa governor at that time there's nothing preventing us from talking to the people we're more than happy to help facilitate a meeting of course for some reason ang schedules Mr. Nicolas ang muna kasi admit na karuera loran masaival so I guess sige da part na lawsuit I don't know what at the end but a lot of times it's just miscommunication so we want to help them and make sure and there's an opportunity for them to talk so kada mga sula bro Miguel mal mesase Babiling at Nortira mal mabota kasi US is free to meet and that's Admiral is here kagit ang mega effort the moment yes gidam dangi their project is on private land oise agreement that are private land owners blue American but the was saying of course ang area impact mo na community din tukol ada amlamong di bala tak I was there sira graduation mo sa ko mongi relal displaced hindi ko kasi sila tourism malbata kami sa mongi lay kaman ako tukol di marararahan dik pa kasi on the other side of it impacta dal madiraraat impacta the community so these are issues that we need to sit down and address sira karsiak tiri kamlo muratam site mesa dam site rose ela lu klubal mer adar soldao etiaklo impact ngin mora tel dam site makmanador tel contractor se partra aliu a help clean up tel dam site o tagal gomil that you cannot dispose mora oreo and then yidre gal maral o meseng maria water maria well ngara blue ngayo maria ido el trigelo contractor ela o mambaral mari tsel ko tibluir sel connected el mora blue la so you know these are areas ang koram kita contractor los para wiral maradablo lang los para wiral so I think what's important let's find those ways and say la military ngarse ngaria los per irablo makara help para community dire ko mesayel needs irablo help para adrablo and that's the very message kinum sa admiral sa lang artiara amandelo sa igagita concern sa adrablo you need to talk to them you need to address sa igagita concern sa I wanna setiap que nos quiera el gobierno. Como merela sel sum mabar jorolger da materials Yeah, bills nga madal sa lula kami giram lot tabdil mo par who's paying for the boat to go out the mir til unload them extra burden and mara blumam ete ka compensation. So one of the things na suggested mara kamno gano skills eta mas umbrella regulation na kami lo ase al talberto a bar changani a fearing. So you can use that money to pay operator mara lalo. These are things that I bigyan toy but sila government tir mula fees tir mas schedule tir la other segregated issues because it's about providing service and we all have to work together girala ade kadir kungalala our sort of makdir kungalala adrablo. And let's be honest, on the other side of it, I umrlo say a benefit mo rablo nga madiri marklo not only the landowners but other rentability other tira urior all of those are direct benefits mo rablo, but you have to make sure as a partner, and that's one of the things that they remind the admiral kami a partner. So serang partner one of the things that I continue to talk about aklar Amerika lang madadurin mo tigil congressman and madadurin mo admiral kasi atara ako termakit lisela blue Amerika la blue bela awa kan tractor el tigil gil be emro ko era sub contractor el oria a Saudi Arabia matergim ngorus trawler tel emro ko advertiser ministry mutu lo ase to sigar engineer mondo der tira 350 an hour. Are you give me a break? Kasi kami na Amerika la direkan so mildi exempt yo sigar cheapest emsada rablu rasina ay black tirote emsada rablu rasina lo ase sel tu to sigar cheapest ma isn't this kind of the same activity? We have to be consistent in our messaging and what we do. That's why we have these partners. As partners, we have to be honest with them and share our concerns. And so, as president, and we have to find solutions. Partnership has to be both ways. And that requires good communication. So I think I'm make an effort to open those lines of communication with us.
President Tamal, the quick follow-up sel lawsuit awal sura belaw American gidela environmental permit violation. Gira sa QPB amli QPB walam lakal lesson ngar alel conductor ang tim lakal license al modakalo require EIS di mo EA ay gal aldo to maran ang well first that's another issue la say is that the case ang ngero nga say ay gal maran aldo to ang ariat alelen mo resolve a problem at the stop at lawsuit tal o mesernging ang ani ako ra amla at ampam mara atara agent
there other agent kami dito shell site was completely bombed during World War II abora balanga na site think free sa balanga le igang this is emurado so kadamro requirement but we have to be reasonable. I think once again, we're partners trying to address issues. They remind that Abraham said, don't get around the issue, address the issues. He said even environmental report really was very detailed. 600 pages. Dili kami sa tukara mongi. Report. EA, EIS, it depends. These are assessments that are done to make sure that of course, kada protect at the same time, kada mitigate the impacts. And that's IQPV made a decision. What they had in front of them was enough to make a decision. So, first part they were in our mind that they were earth moving without approval. I say temporary stop until to submit the whole documents. But Yeah. Opera site hindi ka runoff tia saan. Mars hindi really goes into the ground. Yes, namo di mo sorry man. Yeah, impact kasi nagkakabla mo. That we can all agree on.
President, ngobangkel tegi to lulgar niya ang kagit dili atral ara kaun tangay ko makabernora mlara kawis akle. Ako rin sa ala kabernora ngayaw ra Stephen Sali yang wal ko ramal ko wasi yang ngo spectacular ko siul wasi sel para apply ito mo lo oti de kamatang nga ulmo. So se wal ko ram sa sel wasi sel para wa EA marwa ikang ngani sel socio-economic impact. Basically kung ulme marko ngu tial project ngul manggangin mo adrablu malakamet adrablu. Sel kurang sa akabanor ang wal aku kumes ra process say kita awal blil missing part ra ikang. So environmental permitting dakadil basically level assess ra biological ma ikang direkal ngaring sil socio economic aspect ring dahil say kita uno mang amlo diakal ikang.
Question semakti move anel mara minister.
Sulang. Government take it, of course, and that's why we have a legal system. And again, complaint. Of course, let's let the court sort it out.
Lokondiak ask a question kawe ba to kawis question still of the earlier acti verify la sel medical testing ra sel kotal test will identify ra tigel le positive el police officers. I understand them laringi baby dim nakal sorry mala test are these the ones and lo will test that there say the 29
Tilkan latest na 29 correct ringin mo set tadi tede am latest na diakal 4. Then bag mo to still information obviously tam latest na July 28 ma July 29 ta tede la wana amle positive. Ayel cook information el siradir kan ngarti alabit adiak sal matingel wasing ma trigel mle refuse adiak sal matingel information sa tarwat atirgel mle refuse.
Paisang mal dim rede. Trigay kita mle trial test positive ra earlier. Siyang
tatrim lo mala test nga kadiro kalwa set of 4 out ra earlier.
Sili ka lobit oy. El wasay leng dilo set terminated trigal mlara marijuana tang rehab sino sa rehab ang rabugula rehab.
Til ay gid rehab ay gim koram langul sa Office of Professional Standards and Maorio ringi trigal nga marijuana. Trigal may test positive ra marijuana mang I need to ngong korawalo rio ra plana astereo takasi lo sing ra mo ko ra plana ra rehabilitation mo trigal may test positive ra marijuana. Okay. Elad mo trigal ko may test positive ra gagi dele crystal methamphetamine ice oy segi di agim korawa agim internally gidi audio ringi we have a new as you know, acting director Richard Ngiratrang. So we're working through Segidil Kukobengel ang Kalbe SL acting director Romesel Mulwase sel administrative process of termination how to go about it. So Segidi away algora albangaring acting director elang through procedures through the administrative regulations PPS rules and regulations address ringi.
May vice mati morages tiada kali ko la orang mo president tiada di teligibel la flip ringi la ko mukadi malmal bulis mal ko pitakli ngani al bulis ko waisel waseng to ko ramle promise ta overtime ya senador yang sa hearing yang waseng ko ngani ya wable dra pabol office president wable promise ta overtime dim la kalbong yang seng tigan bulis mal naming lo dia yang ilma tel as ilma do diri
Alek and sir president dim la promise ta overtime nga kamle mi toloban tarir ek murtil wase tial omal. Before they went out to say, Medi the gip by gagi de le record ra teme, Malboria te alle dosiga overtime, mo pergamir overtime. Still looking mga presidente dosiga te alle wasing se other mo kabira either overtime ra marathon. Omal marathon. And you know, really in reality that's other kabira ro overtime ra government. Mangwaigel dira ko tilong ra sira ngara hearing nga matala Senate alwase ako marang alwase tabto karurio ra government aldi tial part nation building tial rungod al gire la balwa madamo tonge tatemer al malget kartial belu and it is even more para mal gire dan branga sulira adal tira tonge tatemir ma aklisi ira badingir mga tartir their talent lolo nga sera balo lagi de tial malomis ra klol out migration di se dia kal tinga presidente nga ka milora arbuliso sak musika aroleli but to keep track at immune ding tamle but to kar adal involved or omal marathon many people were involved although man no successful so segi di ako audio ring ting I just wanted to be clear wasn't tim la ka promise ra president girela overtime bak paimle promise ra olbino lo sak mongol mom sa presidente egi mo adol girel
so to clarify selling ngari other things still differently but so they start blaming the administration wasn't in the so sulang at kita
for example, we got ARFA, Malamring Rural Time, other PVA, total Kakarosal government agencies, and none of them got over.
Government agencies.
Non-government. So it was a community effort.
yes
Is something that hopefully long term most of activity draw tourists part of the nation building. So really, it's really up to each department and make sure the schedule already allocate that time and then give them time off a schedule. So it's about scheduling, and of course, how do that? Of course, we just pay overtime. The reality was budget by 10%. We don't have funding, but also those are the opportunities and those but Omal specifically, there was no money for overtime, so it was really a voluntary program. Dedication or till and make sure people were safe, and I think it was a successful marathon. But we have to improve on them. So long.
Mali mo kasi ko questions. Actually, yung laptop ko hindi kaya talat ka. Minister Udoy, kurang nga Senate ako rata kal tuka questions at ginil tal stablecoin trial project going on right now. Askara auditor mo omisering ngara ko ra responder kal ginil sel.
No, I'm happy to see the public auditor anytime he comes over. We work very closely and we have nothing to hide. So I haven't heard from him that we're scheduling any visit, but when he does come, we're happy to work with him on giving the Senate information that might calm their nerves about what we're doing to help the people in this space.
Okay. Dati kukal follow up at different matters. Kura wangarang report ilara to misra tel second quarter ra ikal collection sa gidra government ma collection na government misra ma inflation rate kura mal ikal CIP I mean ikal index sa kami kumla collect information katukara kinil kasi comment general questions, so I'm just going to throw it right at you.
Yes, we are still seeing higher cost. So I think it's something that people need to be mindful of. It's caused by several different reasons. There was a dip in fuel prices, which is the main reason, and that allowed us to experience less price escalation. But I think there is a general agreement internationally that fuel prices will go up again, so we need to prepare ourselves for that. Let me just also add that, as we had said previously, there's some comment that the escalation was caused by PGST. PGST did have an impact, but it's a small part of the increase, and it was a one-time only increase, so you don't expect additional increases from that. I would say additional increases would be businesses trying to get back on their feet, as well as the high prices from supply chain disruptions and continued war in Ukraine. Regarding revenue, I think it's what you would expect. Tourism has not recovered as strong as we had hoped. We're doing whatever we can to improve that trend, and I think all of these conferences and visits that the President mentioned earlier will help, and is one of the ways that we're trying to make an impact in bringing increased numbers of people to Palau. But at the same time, we've seen some positive results from our tax reform initiative, and we do see a positive, more than expected positive result, despite the weakened tourism numbers, which is great because we are very behind in our revenues. Until tourism recovers, we can expect that to be true. Next year, our forecast is still not 100% of where we used to be. So we will continue to need funding from all sources to continue to fund the government and provide the services. I think for those people who are disadvantaged most, we continue to provide lifeline services for PUC costs, utility costs, and we are working on the child credit out of the tax reform, and the refund of taxes to people will also be beneficial. So I think we can expect more positive support from our tax reform to help us in this difficult time.
What is the child benefit reform? When will that be implemented?
We have funding for this year. Our ministry was working with the Ministry of Health, who is in charge of the distribution, and we hope to be able to distribute that very soon. I don't have a specific date, but I think we were very close to issuing the refund.
The regulations are not correct. With the minister implementation here, the second
That's good.
Well, قادرين قالوا يقولون الرئيس hearing and stable plan, and I think I get the direct لغات كليبل clarify ببيرة تقول. إيش؟ قطر أولى كذا as an executive branch part terang لهذا ملقت تقرا مسيسي الجيزارة بلو. إيش؟ So كذا ملاسمة قاقروس الinitiatives الوسيلة قلتها whether قدامو الملا flight أستراليا or in ministry fisheries المملال ما fads and getting grants to put in more fads so fishermen can be more productive in their fishing. ngosisul tuwa dobal ukira la atora digital residency matial digital economy. How do we expand? How do we قدامنا مسائل تعال that are available out there مسائل تعال واسن مقرب إلى participate رأيك تقول. So tial tokora digital or stable coin opens up esel te alel mera blur belo esel da sem esel te alen kotru ulen ngrulim ng mobiata da yu da udo da drongolet oise el derdil bolbeot mobiata aral and I know lo se maybe se partra concern ngane concern lo se malsumo wa ise igalbang akalel bol affected ndi I guess a question o se alsuma el time kamora retailer mo ara klalo there's 3% el charge niya ay gagidele bangal ngara sell transaction etialo stable coin has the opportunity of doing it at 0.00002 cents and why aren't we opening up that opportunity more other because that helps in reducing cost and helps the consumer so that they can get more out of their dollar. But at the same time, kadiri ko lomen sad beyond radi belaw because the stable coin ang opportunity kad most pengira businesses that are outside Palau. So we were at the economic forum in Hawaii, and we were talking about this. And one of the things tigil economist oreng say you need to get your corporate registry done. You need to start registering aircraft. You need to register ships. You need to get the Corporations Act done. And the stable coin, all of these combined are really harnessing ospertial new economy look generate revenues out of that new system look help abalwat I know and I appreciate the concerns that are other all being because any time that you have something new we should debate and you should discuss and that's why am the decision ngida say di ba da to tbda alla almo because if there's an opportunity to experiment and to understand then we can craft alla other sin mo albira kulula mo be tertira accepting kadam na subi am say these are the challenges these are maybe the pitfalls and this is how we can best address it mang tiawadri gal bol mara klonga se tira na masori ado ba hal da gat maklil mo ngina do mustrir lo subri mang I know ngari atola sen ngari are certain other benefit mangara this opportunity was given to everyone and dimla ka expense government rebela oy maybe ngani temela minister ngani temela ngado ngani temela adar alla liga but we do that every day el trial promote ka karusel الشوباي مال open fishing مال open opportunities المرابلور بلال because at the end of the day any economic activity angari benefiting in mora of course omsangalet another ablur belaw and that's one of our responsibilities as leaders in gira de lodig gira mang akmal welcome ra auditor welcome ra other all we say ask questions let's discuss it ما لقد العقل let's find solutions get transparent we should be working together Sula minister taking the bold step Sula 3.5 hours and a hearing from the Senate and of course that's what we're all about let's be transparent let's work together let's not try to find blame let's try to find solutions and let's not be afraid look trabes el toy ngara lasta yeda msada namodia ma yawadi msada btokol toy disogal mutel mo taklil wase qadam sadara arala dan okla ma how difficult it is ara ablur belo ngari agarul tiag ya kambes oy elang la pasra senet edrigam the house I say minimum wage bill and I know we continue dimdakt di gida de calce del control ara oil de calce del control ara la gaisra California de calce del control ara la brasra California so what we need to be able to do almost extra sell earning more buying para other below most ila for the toy and I know sell morning sa igal business sa to say kamadi mo close akpay multi sell wase alsum ko restaurant I say el al time use other consumer because ang song saududel will spend most of his money liom arabara sa odoim. Dia ka disposable income rim dia ka tel mga restaurant. You need to increase your buying power. Tira si ilober ka tel al economy morablu rogir. And that's putting money back in people's hands. And then they can decide, akmo itingin lana dengi, akmo itingin more restaurant, akmo itingin more. Instead of focusing more on subsidies, focus more on putting money in people's hands. So, of course, a budget rigid, abla the proposing, saying namutal mas audu the other government by 75 cents. The only problem, private sector ade kalagyulan. And we need to make sure a private sector omangel marayan. I just want to mention one thing. When we don't raise the minimum wage, we're only selling ourselves short. Ngana maktuli say, al kombalil mera ngayon mamrura radar, hindi mo igan mo 350. Na minimum wage at 350. Al United al hire employee ni belaw, hindi kal pairing ng arbab la minimum wage belaw ng ariyo. That's the reality that we live in. So gira del yes, government tamral the private sector agire lobangel. And what does that do? Provide more revenue and more immorirtigalat, but at the same time they will contribute more and more SS, which at this time $10 million sa deficit every year. So what we need to do agire the longas audira other tir orior and morba, mensi lom gaya SS and moklo, elom gaya SS and moklo, retirees a benefit. Kita problem bergita rangaramo. Kata maradi mo sa tiyan bebula dalom. Kata tirgal merit maraen, which is retirees, bong increase sa benefits in more tir. Di other order da kama malur tir mo. Awala igadi short. We have to reverse agal policies the way we think. Magara increase our buying power. Magara generate, build from the ground up. And lastly, tirgal mo sa other Senate. I'm not the badia. I will das say. Let's reduce our PGST from 10 to 7%. Ngilul daso. Hindi a question ako say. Ako sisul Senate, amle passer tiyang na couple years ago. And in that passing, emle sorry a child subsidy. Emle sorry increase yourself tax refund up to 15,000. Why say? So anybody below 15,000. E nga sell social benefit program. I got to program which next year we're going to start paying. Ma-question ako kasi, makomrito sirtila kat morito sa igel doros. Let's give time to the system to work. Let's evaluate it. And let's work together. Makmatingin ako kasi, klara rin arabalu, hindi partara rin, we created ourselves. We need to be able to work together, and there's no question. Let's figure out how we help people. And with a strong tax base, that's how we help people. Let's remember, sell decrease 10% and 7%. That applies sa dekali para other belaw. Apply mo ra other angod al bulu. Apply mo ra tourist in memilir tel bulu. Why say? Tirigel tourist mara other angod al bulu. Ate ka benefits tir in wur tel system. Why say? Tax refund ati mara other belaw. Matial tax reform maldiririli amal sel target niya say makara mo ko tar other bela ra alsen. That's exactly what it does. A question kasi, kung merio ok mo reduce sa benefits sa mga other belaw, kita hindi kalbayad sa other mga lower tial pay, bolsa dem rosing other belaw. That's what we should be thinking. So if next year, ikaw na find out kasi nga surplus, hindi ka mukta kayo baby raw daw doon, sumukliya SS or sumukliya pension, that's what we should be focusing on. Malakal, ukol, bolo koso ka sa hige, malakal sila retirees and benefits certain. This is all part of what we need to be doing on a nation building. I know sometimes kita man mo bigik kasi tialudo dong mas pinang-government na orang sa talk show. Ngaya, akadam na ako compact na mo ako sa tax. Kita mo labes wase. For the last sila da titin merang kita na collect tax. What we need is reform the tax system. Hindi kasi hindi mo erase the tax mo de kanang ngara umalu a state government. Ali ako do compact mal specific. Di more hospital, di more school, di more tora climate change, di more tora justice. Alura state government, alura olbira glulaw omalo ay get tokot subsidies el dorul tatia taxel kita collecting. So let's not forget kita rogo motma yang ada contribution kita mortial omsangadet help mlisira balwad man say provide egal service kita other bela rogo ospe. So akte ngadim la question ngirel makoladim leso kab share ngirel. Lastly, this klug emonisel distribution regal small grants el morir civic center at 2 p.m. Dire kaldim na plabes el duli kida seluk tungora tora drugs testing and dire kaldim police. It was ministry wide. Mengari activity merara Ministry of Finance ra customs el dire kal checker term because we believe we should, if we're civil servants, if we're working in the government, we should be drug free. Kama mle force ngar tegi del drug test. So we believe MCC el blue ala clear out the swell blue and it's not targeting people. It's about raising integrity, quality lastly, nga kamlabis ramal important. Kita mal dim sada toy. Ngiri kam sa tela la Ministry of Education mo share ayel uk urel. So can we give him tealek mla obes?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nasta ta school minister.
It's
So
been a very interesting morning listening to the questions and responses. And I was very pleased to hear that all of this is involved around nation building Palau as a nation. Often we overlook one of the key elements of what a nation building is, and that is the education of our children. Nations with strong, vibrant educational systems tend to be strong, vibrant nations. Nations with poor educational systems tend to be poor educational systems. It has been our task at the Ministry of Education to try to raise the level of our children's learning and improve their learning. That's our number one goal. That's our number two goal. That's our number three goal. Improve student learning. The way in which we do that, we have a lot of different issues in which we've addressed, but we measure it primarily through use of a standardized testing instrument, which Palau uses the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, which is a nationally recognized exam with national norms, standardized validity and reliability so that you know that the results are things you can trust and they're things which can be duplicated and applied to other tests. Every year we give that in the spring. And every year when I was came into this position, I saw our results and I was appalled. Our average students were in the mid 20 percentile. Now, a percentile is not a percent like the percent in a 100% score. It's the percentage of individuals who score below your score. So that meaning if you score a 99, you've scored higher than 99% of the entire population. If you score 50, you're right in the middle. Well, we were scoring in the 20s. And having taught here and having two Palauan children, I know our children are better than that. And so we've done a lot of work over the past 2 years to try and improve the system. And some of those have been a little bit confrontational, and some of those have been very quiet. I'm very pleased to report that this year's Iowa tests are showing that those initiatives are paying off. And I'm not going to bore you with all the charts and things because nobody pays any attention. I'd like to just give you some general statements. In the Iowa test, there are 11 tests of skills, all which are dedicated toward assessing how well a child is prepared in a broad liberal arts education. In those 11 tests, in the past 2 years, every child's average in Palau has gone up. It has gone up in every single test basis. Reading, social studies, science, all of those. We've said it. A steady improvement. What we've done is we addressed the year 2021 as our baseline data. That was before we did any of these changes. And so the last 2 years, 22 and now 23, we've seen a steady increase. All across the board, as I said, every single test subject, the students' scores have improved, meaning their learning has improved. Every single grade level, from grade 1 through 11, those are the grades we measure, have improved in their average scores. Steady improvement, not dramatic, not 100% or 99%, but we are now, instead of being stuck in the mid-20s, we're in the 30s moving upward. So I'd like to just, first of all, I want to thank the teachers. We've been hearing a lot about people who go out and do thankless tasks, and I do want to absolutely commend our police department and note that, I don't know if you guys have noticed, every morning we have policemen in front of our high school ensuring that traffic is safe for them to cross the road. And someone who crosses that road, I really appreciate that too, so thank you, Madam Vice President. But our teachers are all the people who put all of the actions and all the great ideas and all the programs into action. If they don't make contact with our children, then everything we do at the central office is wasted. They have done a tremendous job over the past 2 years, but I've only been here 2 years. And the one thing I noted, obviously one of the issues people talk about a great deal is teacher development, professional, and certification. Our teachers' dedication and enthusiasm is phenomenal. They work in very difficult conditions. Over 2/3 of our classrooms have no air conditioning. And you're in a classroom with 15, 20, 30, depending on the school, students. 8 hours a day is exhausting. Now, we're making effort to change all that, and I want to thank the support we've been getting for that, because now we do have air conditioning going up and programs to air condition more classrooms as a part of the making the environment better for those kids. The other way of measuring is you take a group of students and you follow them as they go through the school. So you have the same group of students who are being measured from 1 year to the next and to the next. We measured from third grade up. Third grade, of course, didn't take the test last year. In 2021. So there's no basis of comparison for that. But in all our groups, all of our cohort groups, which are the groups as they've gone through, are no longer in the 20th percentiles. Their average scores are in the 30th and in some cases in the 40th, which is becoming really close to average, which is a great step forward for our children. For example, if you look at I'll take the oldest ones, the 11th grade, last year's the 11th grade. This year's graduating seniors, they started out in the 25th percentile. That was their average score as they went through elementary school. And over the past 2 years, they went from a 28th percentile to a 35th percentile, and now last year to a 40th percentile. Now that's a significant improvement. And I would like to take credit for it, but I can't. I didn't teach one of these kids. Our teachers are out there and they're doing a great job. And I just want to thank them for doing this and let everybody know that when you see a teacher, give them a pat on the back, because nobody does. Only time you hear about schools is when something bad has happened. There's so much good going on in our schools. We have wonderful children. So I just want to point that out. And one of the things which we do is really kind of fun is we rank our elementary schools as to how their average Iowa test scores are. It doesn't mean they're the greatest school in the world. It simply means their kids are really learning a lot and they're moving forward. And we rank them from, let's go in 5th place with 32 percentile was Angar Elementary School. Now, these are surprise scores for a lot of people. Angar, right? Outer Island. Don't have as much out there. Small school, small classrooms. In 5th place, Iri Elementary School. Iri Elementary School with year in and year out is in the top 5. And yet people drive right by it, bringing them into school in Karor. And I'm trying to convince them, stop at IRI. It's a really good school. Third place, John F. Kennedy School in Kayango. Okay, 39th percentile. Average kid there is in the 39th percentile. Second place, Peleliu Elementary School. 39 percentile. We had a tie for second place. First place, Ngarard Elementary School. 43rd percentile is the average score at Ngarard Elementary School. The governor was great and gave him a big party on Saturday when he found out about this. So it just shows these kids are capable, and if we continue offering them good programs, they're going to get even better. And we do have, unfortunately, because of our technology, we weren't even able to offer our new reading program, the accelerated reader, or be able for the full school year because our internet was too slow. Bandwidth was not wide enough. Monday, thanks to PNCC and to the Ministry of Health and Human Services and to the Center for Disease Control, we were able to complete a $365,000 grant to upgrade our internet connections of every school in the islands, with the exception of the Southwest, of course. We tested it Monday, and every single school was able to get on with all of their computers running at the same time. I'm sorry, there were two that didn't. They had problems. But it shows now we now have the ability to implement those programs, and they've already started. But it was full implementation, which is going to have a huge advantage for our kids. The other thing, which is not showing up at all on these tests, is our kindergarten. Our kindergarten scores on their language arts, which we gave to them at the end of their year, exceeded anything we had hoped for. So right now, they are now in the first grade. So as you see that group go bubbling through as a cohort, I'm willing to bet you're going to see those scores improve. The other major thing that happened, and nobody knew about this, it was very much under the radar, is our special education program. Special education program is primarily federally funded. We have about 104 very special children in that program. For the past 6 years, we have been in a state of non-compliance with the United States Department of Education, meaning that we were not doing what we are supposed to do according to the terms of that agreement, and that they could, if they wish, withdraw all funding. We found out about this in, I guess, last January, and I asked Director Kakulin to take care of this and get it fixed no matter what she had to do. She was given 60 days by the Department of Education. We are now in a state of full compliance, and that's huge. And we did that by two things. We had already had a special education cohort of teachers graduating, which they graduated last December, and now those teachers are being placed in special ed room classrooms. That's one thing which was required by the law, which we all agreed to upon entering, and the teachers in that program knew that at the completion with their special education degree, they would be in special ed, which they were going to be done. The second thing was we found out that we were scoring a 0 on services because we didn't know how. So we're bringing in consultants, and one of them is here right now, and they're helping us go through and do all of the necessary paperwork so that the students are identified and given the services they deserve. So, I just had a meeting with them yesterday, and again, a dedicated group of people. There's no blame of any of this. If there's any blame, it comes right to my office, because we need to be able to allow these people to get their job done and to help them know what to do. And that's been done now. So I'm very happy with that. That's a huge statement for us and a huge statement for our very special kids. So they're going to be getting the services they need in much more timely fashion. Okay. Anyway, there's just really good stuff going on. And I could talk a lot longer, as I always will, but I'll stop, Mr. President, because I know I'm running over time. But we are, thank a teacher. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Minister, for that update. And, I'm going to todavía lo hacen lemring. Tiene el nombre del school year. Aman lemring sensei. In fact, last summer, kabuluran sa sensei mo principal si Kiamal Obrao dagal doru aman lemring ram of the hard work. Makbaran mereng asulir sensei our principal lutang le aduling itirtira se anki pudina sing lemring hindi ka ko ba. And thank you, Minister, for that update. That they said,
Presidente Mal Akti soal chef mo multur selmle bring lurela president el di mangara Korea en lo sebela jejulul mo as you know lega ma gambes masem the first flight tira ul mo sera July 29 return August 2nd al do mangala jejum el mol mornia mutul additional flights ra el August 26 ma 30 ma September 16 ma 20 age bookable online mangidil adal nanyagel mergamamut mong siya mga ramrigel book mong yes as a matter of fact mutokar adal ngara Europe ma even masina mabul adal travel through Jeju merbelo all time selguk schedule ra October adir ngara aldadu ekodomesak mong nanya proposal tip mong possibly 2 flights nindira kabol motorok lo maselbol motorok lagi mo sabudik mo October mo o December mo nga natretelel ngultuy ra marketing ngari aldado lo bangela baby ra kumbali Michael agencies ngara Korea el malasam el vamp up marketing mo to kar adang regal flights ay gidele ongerul flight proposed so far on schedule am nato wala gim na share regel media clips tira Singapore sel Ali Palau Air tirge omes ra first flight til mo 12th of September say A319 al Skogi, it's only 50 seaters. In 32 business class, 18 na economy. Ya lomes ringil fare akmedal 2,500 ta arala business, 1,500 around trip. Ese president adirikal lomes ringil aklol magit na open India. Mga niya close show ngara India al PVA amalas men mudado lumgala Robert Scariangel cook honorary council artit el malasan mo joiners el show mo tour ar adra India through Singapore merbela mong igigida gel bebirate alra cook Marcel May ya uro lumgala Australia tel cook flight tergidra Air New Guinea amal mol kadam longol tanga ta Australia los el musugi dra bebira marketing money mong lo subela jening te with el mlara Australia clerk med el tal Sunday madrangel el maray la rogul agencies el mod adu el ultrar belaw at the same time mlarnya other play invited team belaw le film de regal mo o malasam el exposure belaw mora zel magitra Australia one al challenge the president self flight el mora lugile sel land in full mong girera adal bugol mel ahead of time at the book hindi direkal guk na open up ramagit teleng tergel adram regel guk melding erged erkyang angana telli relal guk se borbela ol molding ra alugile el mor Australia so direkal omgaram regel mel samalmong ingari adar bela ol direkal mla connect ra belaw el mor LA via Fiji beto kate al direkal blalbo kay gitel las kogi Akmadak po Minister Udo yablo all kora mat mundir kakalsal mal moklo do dan ding so kal report lo asisel do sa our eda compare 2018-2019 el May 2018 lek medal 8,000 July flights are other lay igidak medal la hitra half it's about 4,900 ma semna target dergid na 20,000 I think by the end of January dal amna exceed ngi instead la hitra at least 35,000 if we continue the same trend. Hopefully, mute President Moktoka flights, but again, nga kadak talgibol conservative o nga kamong if we hit that number, it's good.
So,
Mantra July ra el araging 4,912.
Minister Maldi, quick question. Sel last report ra ADB, sel Pacific Economic Monitor Augusta was say there nga weakness in sel again Asian market, especially Asiabal. So how is that market coming along?
Agi matingat mo siya ba ladir ka number 1 ito tawdudir ong irong adam batak to travel. Se gidal articulator nga other agents sa merkamam. Hindi mani other travel. So gidre ko spare tial Jeju airline mali aldo lumangala piya kama sojits. El joint market ra adal nga Siabal via Korea and Merbelo. Hindi other Korea actually they're traveling a lot. Mang aklol focus ra marketing lang ang Korea, Taiwan, ma Europe pamrigel. Of course yung efforts kita kal bol gagre ra Siabal hindi we know mong talgibon mit ut mong with agel gagre ludo dal pas kita atro olbil kita malasam lo mes kay strong market se investor gay kita.
Hola, no era un cigarro. Una bisula, una media, todo el día martial. Y ahora me lo va a ir en el bolsillo. Me azul lo mismo cada muy la garmio, muy la habla todo. You know, I said la blue I get on the left, I get muy blanca, no, como se lo paga. Era el 6 de agosto 9. Pero assolutamente il tocco allora ovviamente tira ma la nera non si vede la rete sales ti ha parlato di passare la sales ma di te va a arabis Maria there is Fritz era Ministry of Finance ma Erufin Tolmin era Ministry of Education ma Susan Alwen the state travel no kita na mo yung the state part una sumi namma 55 years sila po na most employer are senior citizens senior citizens
big birthday full birthday
I'm a young senior citizen.
President, happy birthday to you. On a historical note, August 9 mal significant day traveler Belaw. Then first extensive contact traveler Belaw with the Western world was August 9 and say it's date Antelope Captain Wilson able hit Belaw. So say
Malgina to meet happy birthday ko.
Glory Mandaraga Miss Sandra Suma.
Oh, Andrea Closisiu.
Nagong madidiyot August 9.
Yeah, happy birthday,
So
Mara.
happy birthday to her. No 17 na niya.
Yeah. So let's see.
Okay, malway say President ma Minister sa Magtaropuy tumita tagibot temi. Dimle kama nga regular sa halakuk tungo at for the mong mo ni tong takni ka sa wino na sing character kal di ka matakaw di so mo pora kung tanya pora mo may celebrate the birthday malungi lang nga tiyang bay sa mga amalita ka happy birthday ro ko yung for okay der gid ro ko itakla happy birthday more ka matiga ro ko celebrate the birthday dira August
Right? August birthdays, eh? Okay.
Okay, magsab mo pora miskira ki
Happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you. May the dear Lord bless you. May the dear Lord
Okay, maluay say el al time kulinte for the close sa program gid. Tikal other medial malolong nga sir gid lot of the information and more public maluay say about the close sa assure gid el al August 9, 2023 kuman masulang back to you spite at the station.